Hi everyone, I'm Jules from Resin Jules, and in this video I'm going to walk you through how to work with Mouldd Deep Pour Resin so that you get perfect results every time. In every resin kit you'll receive your resin, your part A, and hardener part B, an instruction booklet and a pair of nitrile gloves. Mouldd Deep Pour Resin is a 2-to-1 resin designed for larger projects. Things like tables, river pours, large moulds, or anything with a depth of over 20mm up to 100mm. It's much runnier than our original resin, meaning that bubbles rise and release very easily in larger projects, and you can mix up to 12 litres in one go. If you are doing a large pour over 1 litre, the depth can be less than 20mm, but we still recommend it being over 10mm. For anything thicker than 100mm, you can work in layers. You just need to wait roughly 48 hours between layers for the resin to be hard to touch. First things first, cover and clear your workspace to protect it from spills. A silicone mat or plastic tablecloth works perfectly. To demonstrate how to use our deep pour resin today, I will be creating a skull and a Jules pot. The first thing I have done is pre-warm part A, the resin, by placing it on a heat mat. This makes it runnier, helps reduce bubbles and makes it easier to mix. We always recommend warming your resin if your resin has been stored somewhere cool. If you don't have a heat mat, storing it in a warm room, placing the part A by a radiator or standing it in hot water are great options. If your room is over 24 degrees, there is no need to pre-warm your resin. Next, pop on nitrile gloves and an apron to protect your clothes. I always recommend working in a well-ventilated space, so open a window if you can. Mouldd Deep Pour Resin is mixed at 2-to-1 ratio by volume. That means for every 100ml of part A, your resin, you add 50ml of part B, your hardener. Accuracy here is key to a proper cure. If you want to go by weight, you can, but the ratio is 100 grams of part A to 45 grams of part B. The amount of resin you need is the volume of what you are pouring. If it's a mould, you can fill it with water first to measure the volume, then use the same amount of resin. Just make sure your mould is completely dry before pouring resin into it. If you are working with one of our moulds, you will find the quantity needed on the website or just pop us a message. For the skull mould, I need 340ml total resin, and for the Jules pot mould, 220ml, a total of 560ml. That means roughly 375ml of part A and 190ml of part B. I will be pouring the pot in one pour and doing the skull in 2 pours, leaving 48 hours between pours. So I will only mix up what I need today. When mixing, you want to pour your part A in first and then your part B. You want to mix slowly for 3 to 5 minutes, scraping down the sides and bottom of your jug as you go. For mixes over 500ml, we recommend 5 minutes of mixing. When mixing, you'll see it go through 3 stages. First, it will be very streaky, then it will go cloudy, and finally completely clear. Because it is very runny, you need to be careful to ensure it is totally mixed, and you want to scrape the sides and the bottom of your jug every 30 seconds during mixing. If you see any signs of streaks after scraping the edges, you need to do a full extra minute of stirring. Deep pour resin has a 120-minute work time. This means you have 2 hours before it will become too thick to pour. Because it is so runny, the bubbles rise to the surface very easily. Once you've mixed, I recommend leaving it to stand for 20 minutes to allow the bubbles to naturally rise up and pop before you start pouring. Firstly, I'm going to pour the skull mould. I'm going to do it in 2 layers, and the first is going to be totally clear. You might notice I am pouring the resin down the stirrer. This is a little trick to help prevent bubbles. For the Jules pot, I'm going to add green pigment paste to get a transparent green finish. You can colour mould resin with mica powder, pigment pastes or glitters. Just note that a little goes a long way. Adding too much colour can stop your resin from curing properly. When mixing the colours, you want to make sure they are properly mixed in. I am now going to pour the resin into my mould. You will notice that partway through pouring, I have stopped to pinch the bottom of the mould. This helps prevent any trapped air bubbles at the bottom of the mould. For any other tips and tricks to remove bubbles, check out our blog linked below. I then continue and fill the mould the rest of the way up. Once you finish creating, wipe down any leftover resin in your jugs or stirrers. Using wipes or a simple isopropyl alcohol spray also works great. Never pour resin down the sink, it can harden and cause blockages. Once you're happy with your pour, cover your work to protect it from dust. Deep pour resin takes about 48 to 72 hours to cure, so leave it somewhere flat and undisturbed. After this time, you'll be able to demold your piece, and after 7 days, it will be fully heat resistant up to 90 degrees Celsius. I have now returned to my skull after 48 hours and it is hard to touch, so I'm going to pour my second layer. I am now going to repeat all of our previous steps of pouring in part A and part B, and then mixing it up for 3 minutes while scraping the bottom and sides of the jug. Now that is done, I'm going to mix in some of our gold mica powder. Once again, only a small amount is needed. I am then pouring it straight into the mould. You can see me here swirling the resin around the mould and then also giving the mould a few taps once full. Both these things help prevent any trapped air bubbles. Time to skip ahead 2 days so we can demold our pieces. So first I'm going to demold my Jules pot, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's got a lovely semi-transparent look to it. If you wanted it to be even more transparent, then just use less pigment. But I am super happy with it. It is completely flawless, completely bubble free, and really, really smooth to touch. It's gorgeous. And now it is time to demold the beautiful skull, and just look at that. It looks like glass. I absolutely love it. I love the way the gold mica is dancing around. I love how beautiful and clear and bubble free the top of it is. It's absolutely gorgeous. I am so happy. And that's it. You are ready to create with our Mouldd Deep Pour Resin. If you want any more tips, inspiration, or troubleshooting advice, check out mouldd.co.uk or feel free to drop us a message. Bye for now and happy crafting.